do.
I'm a firm believer, and I start every class off with this. Your thoughts determine your realities. Think about that. Your thoughts determine your realities. And I would ask all my students, I would ask them, what does that mean? What does it mean to you? And most get it. Most understand what that means. That your mindset determines what manifests or can help manifest. If I think I'm going to have a bad day, I'm going to have a bad day. If I'm going to have a good day, I'm more likely or more inclined to have a good day. It doesn't guarantee it, but you're more likely or more probable to have that. And I start off the day with your thoughts determining your realities and asking that question to really get people to understand that you are in control of what happens to you. It's a manifest destiny. And I'm a firm believer that you can get everything and anything you want in this world. Anybody can. And it doesn't matter what your education, your background is, your skin color, your religion. None of that matters at the end of the day. And people will argue this, and I can guarantee you'll find somebody who has overcome any one of the many obstacles people will throw at me and say, hey, but what about this and what about that? There's guaranteed to be somebody in this world that has overcome that obstacle. And I'm a firm believer in what I call the power of one. In other words, if one person's able to do it, then it opens up the door for virtually anyone to be able to do it. And that's why I'm a firm believer that anybody can get anything they want. However, and there is a however, there are some things that happen, that have to happen. And the first thing in getting everything and anything that you want is you have to really, really want it, because everything, and this is a big one to understand, everything comes with a price. Now, it's been explained many, many different ways, and I remember hearing, if you want something, you can have it fast, you can have it cheap, or you can have it good. And you could pick two out of those, but you can't get all three. In other words, if you want it fast and good, it won't be cheap. If you want it cheap and fast, it won't be good, so on and so forth. And that's kind of how everything in life works, is that there's this balance, this yin and yang kind of thing happening. So if you want stuff, if you want anything, it doesn't matter what you want. I want $1 million. That's something that a lot of people aspire to have, some money and things. No, I want $1 million. And you're telling me, John, if I want $1 million, I can have $1 million. And my answer is yes. Yes, it's not going to fall magically from the sky. It doesn't work like that. A lot of people have watched, the movie The Secret and stuff like that. I'm a big follower and advocate for that, because they're thinking, oh, if I wish it, it'll just magically appear. And there is no magic like that. But what does happen? And the hardest part of The Secret, if you've ever watched it, if you're not, watch it, come back to this. The hardest part of The Secret, when they explain it, is the receiving, and people will be challenging me, going, well, John, no, if I say I want $1 million, I'm ready to receive it. I'm ready to receive it. And I'm like, well, no, you're not. Most people aren't ready to receive $1 million, and that's a fact. Because it goes back to that fundamental principle. There's a price for everything. And that price is going to come. So you want $1 million. What sacrifice? What are you willing to give up for that $1 million? Because it comes with a price. For some people in this world, that $1 million has come with a price of their relationships. They've lost their significant other, the love of their life. For others, they've lost family or family members. Some people have lost themselves. You see the quote unquote, in the Hollywood or the YouTube stars or whatever kind of thing it is, the selling of the soul kind of thing, because they gave so much of themselves that they've lost themselves in return for that fame or that fortune. There's a cost, and it's not like a cost, think of it as a very, the world is the most fanciest restaurant or the fanciest clothier place that you can go to. When you go to those places, there's no price tag that's listed telling you exactly what it's going to cost you. You don't know the price. Now, if you're open-minded enough, if you look, you'll see the price tag. You'll see what you must give up in order to achieve it. And then if you're open-minded enough, you see that, not lying to yourself, then you can sit there and say, I'm willing to pay that price for that. And maybe you are. Maybe the price is just more time. Maybe the price is more effort. Maybe the price is going back to school. Maybe the price is taking a chance with this organization, this company, leaving this country, leaving this job, leaving this state or province. Maybe it's leaving my family for a bit. I don't. It depends what you're going for and what you're trying to achieve. Now, I've been very blessed, and the reason I speak this and know this to be true is because this has happened to me many, many, many times. Is that the successes that I've had in my life have never come solely from myself. They've come from opportunities. They've come from other people and the relationships that I've built over time, and then opportunity knocking. Sometimes there's randomness in there. It happens. And then you have to make that decision. Do I want to go down this path? And do I want to pay the price? And for me, I've been very blessed that what I deemed as the successes in my life, weren't going to sacrifice my family, weren't going to sacrifice my relationships or myself for that matter. They were sacrifices of more time put into a particular development opportunity, more time to develop oneself, more time to learn some new craft or skill, more energy and effort to be put into that. And you can argue, yeah, well, that took you away from certain things. Sure. Those were a price that I was willing to pay. And I did have opportunities. I did have, because there was the time where I'm like, I want money. I want $1 million. I want $1 million. I want $1 million. And an opportunity manifested in front of me to get that $1 million. And I'm very blessed and fortunate that at that time when that presented itself to me, I was open-mindedness, is that even a word? I had the foresight and understanding that this was huge sacrifices, not only of myself, but of my family and my relationship and my wife. And at the end of the day, when the document was handed to me, a pen was handed to me and like, sign, and it's yours. And the price was just too high. I mean, it just wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth the risk, and that's really what stops a lot of people from becoming very successful too, is it's just not worth the risk, and when I'm talking successful, quote unquote, in the eyes of society, of money and, fame and things like that. For myself, success has been defined differently now. I don't need the $1 million to consider myself successful. I love, the fact that I have a wonderful family, and to me, that's a success. And a lot of people are successful already and they're pursuing other types of success. But, again, there's a price to pay. You want to, be with your family, then yeah, you might not be looking at putting a 40-60 hour work week or more, as some people do, and that can allow you more time with the family if that's what's important. Not having a bigger house, you have to decide what you want. And just remember, there's a price to pay for each one of those things. And your decisions are your decisions for your life. And that's great, fantastic. And my decisions are my decisions for my life. And everybody in this planet, we got several billion people are going to make decisions that are suited for them based on where they're at, what levels of risk they want to tolerate, and what sacrifices and what payment they want to make for the return. And that's what I want to leave you with, is just whenever you're faced with those things, stop. Think about it. Is it worth it? More often than not, you're going to say it isn't. And the minute you do that, there's a freedom that comes over you when you get off the hamster wheel, when you get off the rat race. There's a freedom of, I'm happy. I'm happy with just what I have. That's true happiness.
you gonna do?